And good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. And my alarms just went off for the 24 hours countdown to the game tomorrow night. How good is that? It's a big game tomorrow night in Germany. Massive game for Celtic in Germany. Why is it? 2 seconds. There we go. Yeah, Willie Manny's late again. He's not. Hey, it was running. It just taking its time to come up to speed. He's not been late tonight. Maybe you have. I don't know. Anyway. Celtic won a watch. Celtic won a watch by selling Kyogo in the previous window. Kyogo suffers a fresh injury setback after his Celtic exit. He's been on the bench a couple of times, but it was an old injury. An old injury has resurfaced, and we all know what injury it was. How did he manage to pass his medical with that dodgy shoulder? Getting 10 million for him, and we knew at the start of the season. I think the funny bit for me is, as soon as Kyogo goes down at the beginning of the season and it holds his arm, we go out and buy Adam Eder the next day. After being left on the bench against St Etienne, Kyogo was handed a cameo appearance, it says, from the bench in their latest defeat to Lille. The 30-year-old was forced off minutes later due to a shoulder injury, which has cropped up time and time again at Celtic. And what makes matters even worse, what makes it even worse is the fact that the manager had made all his substitutes and he brings Kyogo on. Kyogo was the last sub that they could bring on, and he goes off 5 minutes later. Hold his arm again. His new manager must be thinking, 10 million. 10 million. 10 million for this. Jesus. What have we done? What have we done? They maybe want a refund, but they're not getting any refund. We got the 2 million and banked it, and Jota, that'll do good for me. So anyway, move on to the game tomorrow night. I'm been interested in watching some of the stuff coming out of Germany, because the party line that they're going with is, look, we won at Celtic Park. That's not happened a lot in the last year for visiting teams. The fact that we beat them at Celtic Park is a massive step, and that's the way that they're playing it. And then there was news coming out about Harry Kane. Harry Kane didn't, not slagging off Kyogo by any means, but 10 million for a 30 million for a 30-year-old is a great piece of business. Harry Kane, yes, and as you would say back in Fife, he got a punch off the puss in the game at the weekend. He got a slap off the puss hit at the game of the weekend, and he got a day off extra training. He got a day off training today. He got a little respite. He'll play tomorrow. Dodgy doctors, Baz. Money. It's a good bit of business. It is that. Harry Kane will play. For me, Harry Kane getting a little tap on the face, and he gets the Monday off. I think it's just resting on making sure that he's fine to play against Celtic. And like Brendan Rodgers says, if he doesn't play, I'm sure there'll be another multi-million pound signing that'll come on and play for them. Anyway, talking about Brendan Rodgers, I listened to the Brendan Rodgers interview and the Kasper Schmeichel one. The Kasper Schmeichel one was interesting because they spent most of the interview with Kasper Schmeichel asking him about the Man United game back in 1999. And he goes on a complete tangent about how his granddad supported Bayern and how it was a fantastic day for them and the family due to the fact that Man United won that late goal with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, wasn't it, that scored the winner for Man United, and into extra time. And they spent most of the interview talking about that, and it's like, Jesus, come on, talk about the game tomorrow, lads. But anyway, Brendan Rodgers, he has been saying, he said that Celtic need to play without any fear, and we do. He's ordered the players to go out and give it all. Leave everything on the pitch. Leave everything on the pitch. Just leave your soul on the pitch. Make sure that you come off that pitch knowing that you've went in and played 110%, 120%. And in Greg Taylor's instance, he just played. I'm going to go through what I think the lineup will be against Bayern Munich in Germany. Maida will be just as good as Kyogo through the middle. I don't think that Dyson Maida will play through the middle. I think that when I look back at the game, and I think that Nico Kuhn, apart from the goal that he scored right at the beginning of the game, I thought that Nico Kuhn had a quiet game. And I think that he'll go with Jota and Dyson Maida and Adam Ida up front. I've just got a funny feeling. I've been thinking about it tonight, and I'm thinking about what Brendan Rodgers said, and I've just got a funny feeling that Brendan maybe thought that Nico didn't live up to expectations. Jota, he was asked the question, is Jota fully fit? Now, we would all like to see a fantastic attacking lineup of Dyson Maida on running through the middle, Jota on the wing and Kuhn on the other side. But I think that they got the measure of Kuhn quite early on in the first half, and I think that that's why Brendan Rodgers is going to go, no, I'm going to leave Kuhn on the bench, and then I'm going to get Kuhn to come on later on in the game. I could be completely wrong, and we'll find out tomorrow night, an hour and a half before the game. Maida had never had much luck down the wing either, though. Yeah, I know that. Nobody had any. We never even had a chance in the first half, let's face it. Let's just hope it isn't the same. So, with that being said, I think the team for tomorrow will be Cameron Carter-Vickers. Kasper Schmeichel obviously will be playing in goals. Kasper Schmeichel in goals. Cameron Carter-Vickers at the back. If he does that, Kuhn will spit the dummy out big style. Kuhn went missing after 20 minutes. If Kuhn spits the dummy out, look, we can go into all sorts of tangents tonight. If Kuhn was to spit the dummy out, I think that we'll all know what's looking the biggest probability in the summer, and that's Kuhn being sold. Brendan doesn't want to do it. Do us all and drop Taylor Brendan for tomorrow night. I think he might do that. I think that he may do that. But you never know. Anyway, I'm going to go with Cameron Carter-Vickers and Trusty at the back, along with Alistair Johnston. Now, will Brendan Rodgers mix it up a bit and bring in Jeffrey for the beginning, or will he have? Will he stick with Greg Taylor? I've got a funny feeling he might change it up, because I think that when Jeffrey came on, he done okay. And he seems to play the same position quite well. And it wouldn't surprise me if Brendan Rodgers decided that, yeah, do you know what? They're going to expect Greg Taylor to play, but I'm going to switch it up and bring on Greg Taylor in the second half. But you never know; he might not do that. But I'm going to go with Jeff at the back, and then the midfield. The midfield picks itself, really, doesn't it? It's going to be Callum McGregor, it's going to be Arne Engels, and it's going to be Rio Hatate. And would the Rio Hatate please stand up? Let's just hope that this is the game that Rio Hatate goes, yep, you know what, I'm going to get my move in the summer. This could be the swan song in the Champions League for me at Celtic. I want to go out and I want to be the best I can. A bit like Kyogo when he scored those 3 goals for Celtic, but they were all ruled offside. and then he walked out the door the next day. I think that's why Kyogo had that little bit about him that night. So I'm going to go out on a high. I'm going to score as many goals as I can. Maybe this is the one that Rio Hatate goes, you know what, this is my last big game in Europe. This is what's going to show these teams in Europe that I'm a player and that I can do it at the highest level. And if Rio Hatate does that and he turns up and he tracks back and he does all the nasty side of the game, we could just have a chance. And I think Arne Engels is just Arne Engels. I think the Germans will target Arne Engels all day long. Up front is where I think it's going to be interesting. I think Brendan Rodgers may change it up a bit. And I am going to say that I think that he's going to drop Kuhn for Jota. And I think he's going to start Jota, Dyson Maida on the wing, and Adam Ida through the middle. I know it's not ideal. I know a lot of fans would like to go with Adam Ida on the bench to come on in the second half, put Dyson Maida through the middle, Nico Kuhn on one side, and then Jota on the other side. But I just think that Brendan's too much of a tactician to make such a drastic change. I think he's going to go a little bit easier and have Adam Ida through the middle to start the game, with the knowledge that he can bring Dyson Maida in the second half. Well, you never know. Johnny Kenny might just get the nod. Does anyone seriously think that we can beat them? I'm hoping a respectable scoreline, says Stephen. Kevin Kimmett says, hope you have your fairy dust out there, Baz. I don't think we'll need fairy dust. I think we'll need more than fairy dust. I think that we'll need like some wizardry or something like that. But it's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to be an easy game. But I think that if Brendan Rodgers, the way that he's been talking, Brendan Rodgers says he wants to go out and have a real good go. I think that he'll be thinking that's his best team. He'll put the players that he thinks they can get a bit of a foothold in the game in the first half. Anyway, Celtic, Brad says, Jim McClarty said from day one, if you put a line of defenders in front of Kuhn, we'll stop running out the park. He always cuts in. Start Adam Ida, and we can forget it. And we can forget it. How Robert, tell me in the comment section, if we start Adam Ida, how can we just forget it? We're going to have someone that can take a bit of pressure off us in the box and maybe try and hold the ball up. That's not Adam, that's not Dyson Maida. Dyson Maida's good at running at them. There's going to be times that we'll be able to get past them and we're going to need to cross the ball into the box. I don't know. I'll be doing a decade of rosary. A decade of rosary. Yep. Lorna, I hope you enjoyed your little trip away. Adam, Ida was great at the weekend. Why is everyone on his case? I don't know. Is everyone on his case? I love your optimism, Mad Mac. I just can't see it, says Stephen. Jason Lee says, unless Ida starts, he won't get any minutes. Really? Do you think that Adam Ida wouldn't get any minutes if he didn't start? Who's going to come on then as the second striker? That's an interesting one. Because if you were to play Dyson Maida through the middle, I don't think Brendan Rodgers likes to change the team up a bit. And I don't think that Dyson going through the middle for a full 90 minutes is what Brendan's going to go for. I just got a funny feeling. The only player I'd change is Schlupp for Taylor. That's I said Schlupp would start. He was in my starting lineup. Danny Cassie says he thinks it's going to be 2-0. Well, if it's 2-0, we go through. I can't see it being 2-0, but I am trying to be as optimistic as we can. So Joseph Davison says, I think he will go for Jota and Kuhn and Maida and press them early. Adam Ida on in the second half. Adam Ida, he is an impact striker. He's done it going back to the Scottish Cup final. Without his goal in the Scottish Cup final, we would never have won it. He is a striker that can come on and make a difference in a game. Can he make a difference in such a big game? Or is Brendan Rodgers thinking is Brendan Rodgers of the thinking, and John Kennedy and Gavin Strachan, are they thinking, look, there's more chance of us getting down the wing and getting a ball in for Adam Ida to header into the back of the net? There's more chance of that happening. But then again, if there's a chance of that, there's a chance that Dyson Maida could come through. Thank God that I'm not the boss, and the boss is Brendan Rodgers, who's here for a good time. Is he here for a long time though? So, other Celtic news, Brendan Rodgers obviously saying that he wants the players to go out and have a good go, and the boss has banished disbelievers that we can't do it. It's impossible. Nothing's impossible. Kasper Schmeichel said, look, I've been part of teams where we've went against the grain, and we've been the unfancied team, we've been the underdogs, and we've went and got the result. Can Celtic get the result tonight? Jason Lee says if we play 3-5-2, we could get a result. I think playing 3 at the back against such a good German team, you would end up playing 5 at the back. So not Jason Lee, I can't, Brendan, you can't really play 3-5-2 against them, because you would end up going 5 at the back, and that's not the way that Celtic play. The midfielders, the defenders, would end up being crammed in on the edge of their box, and then you're going to have two midfielders that are going to have to track back, and then you'd end up with a five at the back, and that's not the way that Celtic play. I mean, I know that we played a bit with a 5 at the back in Atalanta, but this is a must-win game. You know, this isn't a game where we're going to sit in and defend. Maybe, you never know. Could be a game that we're sitting and defending for 80 minutes. We go up the park in the 85th minute and score a goal to win 1-0, but then it's not good enough. It just takes us to extra time, and the only thing that would do, that would just annoy the Germans, and then they would come out and score 1 or 2 in extra time. I can see us scoring. But Maida scores a few headers too, to be fair. He does that, Jamesy boy. Even though it's been out, good kind of, yeah, we've bagged money for next year. That's about as good as the Champions. It's been a fantastic campaign. Whatever happens tomorrow night, I think that we can all look back on this campaign and saying, I'll just do this quick poll. Let me just do a quick poll. Has it been better in the Champions League than you thought? Has it been better than you thought in the Champions League this year? Have we played better? Have we achieved what we set out to achieve? I think we've set out what Brendan Rodgers and the players wanted to achieve, and that was to try and get to the last 16. Definitely the knockout phase. So the question is, has it been better than you thought in the Champions League this year? 90% say yes, 10% say no. Interesting that 10% say no. If you don't think it's been a good Champions League campaign, tell me why in the comment. Yes, but always room for improvement. Exactly, there's always room for improvement. But the people who say no, tell us in the comment section why you don't think that it's been a good Champions League campaign. I can understand why you maybe think about it. The game in Zagreb, I thought if we won that was one of the games that I thought we would win at the beginning. You could say that a draw away to Zagreb was, Tavernier comment, disappointing. It has been, but I think it's all down to Brendan. It's all down to the new format. Everyone had the same opportunity at the beginning of the campaign. When you look at teams that finished below Celtic, teams that did not qualify, they weren't all fourth pot teams. You know, they weren't all fourth pot teams. Points dropped Too many points dropped. I thought we would have. It says Bruges and Zagreb. I hope the famous fairy tale can happen. Yeah, let's hope so. I think the opportunity missed in Zagreb spares us. Spares us this. David says it's been a friggin' great Champions League campaign. I wouldn't say it's been great, but it's been interesting. It's been interesting. I thought that's what I expected. That's what I thought it was. Paul said no, but he says he thought it was what he expected it to be in the Champions League. You know, in Germany yet? I know a lot of my mates who flew over to Germany today and yesterday. A couple of guys, a lot of the 5 guys who flew over today. If we go through, do you think it would impact us in the league? No, not at all. Not at all. For once, we had something to be excited about. Of course, it's been could have been better. It's a learning curve. Yes, it has that. When was the last time we got to the playoffs segment of the Champions League? 2012 season. 2012. Atalanta was a massive result. Getting a point in Italy was good for us. It was that. The draw against Atalanta was brilliant. First time Atalanta didn't score at home. Yes. Bruges at home felt like a killer looking back. Yeah. Bruges and the other game. Shame that we were missing Cameron Carter-Vickers. Yeah, we always seem to be missing Cameron Carter-Vickers going into the start of the Champions League campaign. It'll be interesting to see if Brendan Rodgers does go into the transfer market you don't know. That's miles away ahead. I agree with us, but the new format, I think, gives countries like ours a better chance of progressing, says Eddie. Stephen Johnson says, Baz, Bayern the Constance that go to penalties. Who do you think would take the penalties for Celtic? First up, it should be Arne Engels, Callum McGregor, Adam Ida, Rio Hatate, and don't know the fifth one. Alistair Johnson, the fifth one. I play Big Sloop instead of the clown Taylor. And I said Sloop just because I think that Brendan will change it up a bit. I think he'll change it up a bit. And he'll let Greg Taylor come on in the second half. I'll have a half. 6:40 a.m. flight from Dublin. Jesus. 6:40 in the morning flight. There we go. It's freezing over there. I know. I don't know where guys were, but they flew into somewhere else first, and there was snow. I was like, bugger that. Bruges, to be fair, have punched above their weight, but you could say that Celtic have punched above their weight. Have Celtic? I mean, that could be the next question. Have Celtic punched above their weight in the Champions League this year? Big Schmeichel saved us in 2 of the games. Yep, he did that. I thought the format suited us better than the usual format. It did that. And you've got to remember, Real Madrid, Man City, at one stage were not qualifying for the later rounds, so it did make it a bit more of a level playing field. And the fact that you're not playing teams home and away, for me, made it a really good campaign so far, and it's been a little bit more exciting than the normal format because you're moving up and down the league. You're not sitting in your pot of however many teams, and then you're like, you only need to finish first or second. You only need to finish second. We all know the team that's pot 1 has got the majority of the chance of finishing top. But what this did, it was because it was the league format. Because it was the league format, and teams were changing positions every single week, apart from Liverpool. We were pretty much just at the top of the table. You've got to then look at Aston Villa. Aston Villa were second top for quite a while in the Champions League this year. Danny Cassie says Big Sloop should play instead of Clown Taylor. Why play someone who doesn't want to be at the club? he will let us down, says Celtic. Mad. Take it you're talking about Greg Taylor. Well, why should we then play Sloop? Because he's not going to be here at the summer too. And so I think these comments aren't very helpful because we've got Sloop on loan. We are not paying Sloop. We're paying half of his wages. 60 grand a week he's on. We are not paying him 30 grand a week to sit on the bench. We're not paying him 30 grand a week. And he's certainly not going to take a 50%. And we're certainly not going to pay him 30 grand a week to sit behind Kieran Tierney when Kieran Tierney comes to the club. Not a chance. Sloop will not be here next season. He will not be here next season. Celtic cannot afford him, and he will not drop the wages. He's not going to go down to 20 grand a week to come to Celtic. 25 grand a week to come to Celtic. Not a chance. Not a chance. It's freezing in Glasgow. Tam Max said he's heating on all day. Celtic Matt says, Joseph Davison says, I don't think it will be intentional letting us down. He's just not good enough in Europe. Love the performance, not losing to random teams like Bobo Glimt, etc. Feels more like Martin O'Neill's Celtic days when you could just let yourself dream. Can we do that? Taylor has signed nothing yet. I'd be watching this space, says Willie Man. Do you think that somebody want to talk about that? I mean, do you think that Greg Taylor's already said to a lot of his teammates he doesn't want to be playing second fiddle? He's at the stage of his career where he can go anywhere and be a first team player. He's not going to stay at Celtic to be a bench warmer. He's not a Scott Bain. And I think if he was to do that, he would be pissed off. You would be pissed off. You're not going to sign a new contract at the money that less than the money you could get elsewhere, and sit and be a bench warmer. You know, the Scott Bain type player is a 1 in a million. Sloop is a bit on the side. Use him and then forget about him when he's done. Says Robert. That's a bit harsh. He's a bit on the side. Meet the Hutches. If Taylor signed the pre-contract, it would have been confirmed now, not just a rumour. His wife wouldn't want to go move there. How do you know? How do you know that his wife wouldn't want to go to Croatia? Why would his wife want to move there with a newborn child? People move to different countries all the time with newborn children. Just the education system probably more than likely to be better than what they're getting in Scotland just now. Kalmak is so good going forward, but I fear Bayern will play more defensively. I think that they're going to man-mark Callum McGregor tomorrow again. They will man-mark Callum McGregor. They know how good Callum McGregor is, and they'll man-mark him to make sure that he doesn't get a free roll to do what Callum does in the centre of the pitch. And you're going to get people tomorrow night then coming on and saying, Callum McGregor was shite, he'd done absolutely nothing in the game. He was man-marked. What do you expect him to do? Then it's then up to the other midfield players to make positional moves to try and free themselves up if Callum's getting man-marked, which I think he will, because he pretty much got man-marked the first half of the last game. Jason Lee said that Kalmak is so good. I can assure you if we're going all in, we're going all in tomorrow. Yes, we have to go all in. There's no use not going all in. There's no use playing defensive, playing like we did in Atalanta and hoping to try and sneak something at the end. If we do that, we're going to get hammered. We're going to get absolutely hammered. And it's not the Celtic style. I think Brendan Rodgers will want to go out and try and replicate what they did at Celtic Park. And if we can go there and sneak that early goal in the first minutes of the game, and this time Adam Idah stays on side, if we can do that and give them a little shock, I think that it will be a fantastic night of football, and it's going to be full of drama. I think it's going to be full of drama, and we're going to get to the end of the evening and go, holy fuck, What a game. What a game. Either that or we're going to get to the end of the night and go, Europa's really our standard, isn't it? That old chestnut. We're going to come out with the old chestnut saying, yeah, we should just try and stick to Europa. It's more chance of doing something than the Europa. Danny Cassie says, I'm saying that we don't like Taylor as well, but it takes about an hour to take a throw in. I would freaking love Scott Bain's job. Me too. Just sit about and just. Wonder what the other players say to him. I mean, they must take the piss at him. Like, all right, Benny, fucking money for old rope, you, innit? And there's always that. It's like back in the old days when I worked in the factory, and there's always the old geezer that's been at the factory since he was fucking 12 or something, and he's just coming up for retirement, and he just sits there and does nothing, and he gets away with it, and the gaffers know that he does fuck all. The gaffers know that he does. I mean, Brendan Rodgers knows that Scott Bain doesn't do anything, but he still gets his wage, and he's still there, and it's like, fuck, it's just Bainey. It's just Bainey. Do you know what I mean? I still think that when Jota came back, he must have looked round the squad and thought, you're new. Fucking you? What are you still doing? How are you still here? It's the fucking Bainey's still here. Fuck's sake, you're in with the woodwork, mate. You're in with the woodwork, you. You're one of them. Anyway, Brown Warrior says, haven't watched Bost Cow and Leverkusen game. I would be best pressing them hard for as long as we can. Can we press them hard, though, away from home? Hatate should not start, says Richard. Nothing but a win, says Kevin. Nothing but a win. Maida up front. I don't think that Brendan's going to do that. I've just got a funny feeling. Hatate is a wee wonk for 80 minutes last week. Yes. Europa League is pointless for us now. For now, 2-0 Celtic tomorrow. Yep, the Europa is pointless. Europa League is pointless. Scott Bain is a poor analogy. Anthony Ralston's better. Tony gets a shift in. Do you know what I mean? Tony gets a few shifts now and again. It's where Bainey, he just sits and he's like Scrooge. Bain's like Scrooge at the Celtic Christmas dinner. He just sits there counting his coins, knowing that he's done nothing all season to earn them. He just sits there counting the big piles of cash that he's got. At least Tony Ralston puts in a shift. He does a bit of grafting now and again. Scott Bain, he's just fucking. He just sits there counting it. Meet the Hutchie says, the last time the Huns lost 1-0 and put out the Scottish Cup to a bad team was Berwick Rangers. They claimed it was the worst loss in history. It was 1967. Classbaz, best paid human for being purely Scottish. Yep, he is, Lubo. He is, that's Bain, isn't he? And what's your job, Bain? I'm Scottish. What? Aye, man, that's it. I'm Scottish. That's the only reason I'm here. I'll get a wee flight 4 or 5 times. It's great now because it used to be like maybe 2-3 away games in the Champions League. Now it's more than that, man, and it's fucking brilliant. I just got a couple of wee holidays now and again, and it's all paid for. It's all inclusive. Get my dinner and everything. Oh, Bain. That's the fucking. Imagine sitting and saying to your kids, so you played for Celtic? You sure? Oh, Bain's a looker. Good for showing off the new jerseys. He is that. Glasgow's green and white. Tony at least gets his strip dirty. Scott Bain hasn't got one. He works in the kitchen. We have to start the way we finished in Glasgow. Outstanding at the end. Yes, we do. We need to start like that. Bain collects the balls. Give him credit, Baz. I don't even think he does that, does he? Right? Do you think he puts the kettle on for them at half time? Well, I've got a tea lady for that, haven't we? Or a tea man. He's actually a damn good keeper too. That's the thing, he is a good keeper. For a Dundee United or a Motherwell. He's a good keeper for that level. And he could go anywhere, but he's on to Venus push Gary, fucking push, says Jamesy boy. We should press aggressively. Jason, should we press aggressive? Well, we did it the second half, and we kind of got them under the cosh a bit. And getting on to a serious note, if we can put them under that little bit of pressure and at least let them know they're in for a game. You know, there's no use waiting till the 80th minute. I don't want to do what teams in Scotland do, is sit and soak up the pressure for 80 minutes and then have a go in the last 10 minutes. It's not the Celtic style. I think if Celtic can have a real good go, especially in the first half, and even sneak a cheeky little goal in the first half, I'll get the Germans thinking, do you know what? We need to start really focusing here. And that'll do one or two things. It'll either get them to turn up a notch or two, or you never know. You never know. Anyway, Bayern Munich. Saying that their main striker was injured. He wasn't. He got a wee scalp off the pus, as they say. You scalp off the pus. And Brendan Rodgers says that he might play Jota. Anyway, score predictions. It's that time of night. It's a win. I think Scott Bain must be one of the most decorated players in Scottish football history. When he averages, Liam, we got someone to look it up one night, he averages 1 medal every 4 games that he's played. 1 medal every 4 games. That's what Scott Bain's Celtic career is. It's unbelievable. We'll have to defend well by his Celtic match. Yes, we will. We're going to have to defend like we've never defended before, and at the same time, we're going to have to hit on the brake and we're going to have to. Can we win the midfield battle? That's what it's going to come down to. Let me get another 7 votes. And has the Champions League been better than you thought? Has it been better than you thought in the Champions League this year is the question. And 91% say yes, and 9% say no. Because I've got to admit, some people on the chat at the beginning of the Champions League did say that they thought that Celtic could get 15 points. Out of the campaign. I predicted 12. I was right with that. So, yeah. Keep it 0-0 for 88 minutes, and then a corner, boom, 1-0 Celtic, and then we went on penalties. I don't think that penalties would be rather good for Celtic, and I don't want to go out in penalties. It would be great to put Harry Kane out on penalties, because let's face it, he's English, and the English always hate penalties, but the Germans are generally pretty good at penalties. So, yeah, it comes down to taking our chances. It does that. The defence needs to stop making mistakes, yes. To be honest, I don't think that we can win the midfield battle unless Maida presses up in the middle. He would be pressing as the main striker then. So then you would have to play Kuhn. But the problem with playing, you've got to think about the bench as well. And this is why Brendan will not put Dyes and Maida through the middle at the beginning. Because if you put Dyes and Maida through the middle, right, you've then got Jota on the wing and you've got Kuhn on the wing. When it gets to the later stages of the game, all you've got is Yang. On the wing. That's no good for Brendan. Brendan will be like, we can't risk that to just have the one winger to come on in the second half. And Yang's the only one that's got any kind of pace that can play on the wing. Adamida, completely useless on the wing. So I think that he will go with Adamida. Johnny Kenny will make the bench. And I think that Dyes and Maida may go through the middle towards the last 20 minutes of the game again. And I think that will be the change. Yang will come on, and if Jota's not on, I don't know. Yang a hat trick, not a chance. We're not going through that one again. Bain's out painting the stairs yellow. Somebody needs to do that at Celtic Park. It's one of my bugbears that they do it every 3 years or something. Remember a time that they used to do the stadium every summer, and they haven't done they used to get the staircases all washed and then all painted every summer. They've never done that for years. Don't see us getting anything tomorrow. I could see it being 3-0 to Bayern, says Square Sausage Mick. Listen to a Cool in the Gang. He believes in miracles. Penalty against Bayern isn't the same penalties against Rangers. I think we would lose in penalties. Yes, we would. I doubt we'll start Maeda in the middle, moving forward about the 60th minute. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think Luke McCowan could do a job on the wing if needed. He could, but he's not got the pace. We need pace to get into it. Anyway, I've been on for 40 minutes tonight. I am going to go... I'm going to go the Germans 2, the mighty Glasgow Celtic 1. I think that Celtic will get a goal early on. I think Celtic could potentially score first, and then I think that they're going to get a couple of goals. And 1-1 Kuhn Celtic corner. It's got 1-0 written all over it. I'm not too sure. We'll go down 2-0. 1-1 says Lorna Gallagher and Gemma, sorry. Cheers, Baz. Have a good night, troops. Take care. That's it. Lorna says, like, fucking get it, beat it up. Cheerio. Anyway, 2-2 thriller. 2-2 thriller? I'm not too sure. I thought you were a dreamer to fellow Pfeiffer. I am a dreamer, but I'm also... I've got to think... Wait till I see the team tomorrow. Let's finish off that poll. 92% say yes, they reckon it's been a fantastic Champions League campaign. I'm not going to be live tomorrow morning, but I will be live 1 hour and 30 minutes before the kickoff. It'll be a pre-recorded video tomorrow because I'm working tomorrow morning again. And then if I'm home early, we'll do an earlier live, and then the one an hour and a half before. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening. I need to get the video back up because the video isn't there. Anyway, have a absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.